Hey, everybody. So just wanted to sort of go over this ethics assignment and the idea of a memo. Uh, I think for some of you, this would be obvious. This is probably things you do at work, and others probably have never done one. So we'll just kind of walk through real quick what the expectations of the assignment are and what a memo looks like in the real world. So first of all, I'll just look at the assignment with you. It wants us to write a memo like we're writing it to our boss. And so our scenario is that we work in a company that has begun selling annual subscriptions to its new online magazine. During September, the company sold the first subscriptions, receiving $600,000, which represents 1/5 of the revenues from all sources for the year. The entire amount has been collected in cash. And as the end of the year approaches, you notice the company recorded the entire $600,000 to revenue, and there's no plan to make an adjusting entry. So the first thing they want you to do is recognize that that's not right, that you should only record revenue, that revenue you've earned, and the rest would be unearned revenue that you won't earn until the next year, right? So you have to understand sort of what's at hand here, what issue this is causing. And that's kind of the crux of what they want you to do. So they want you to draft an approximately 2-paragraph memo, which explains these bullet points: the accounting error that has been made, the effect of this error will have on financial statements, and the problems that might result. And I'm not going to give you those answers. I think that's something you're going to have to figure out from the things you're learning in this chapter. And then the importance of fixing the error and what needs to be fixed. Okay, so that's the assignment. There's a rubric. So if you look at that rubric, that's how the assignment will be graded. So make sure you adhere to each of those items in the rubric to get maximum points. Over on the right here, I just have like a sample memo. I'll let you know that where I work and where a lot of people work, we don't do this sort of formal memo looking thing with the big bold memo on top. Usually it's just an email, okay? And instead of the date is already kind of locked into the email system. The to and from is already into the system because you're sending the email. And then even the RE is just the subject of the email. So a lot of times this sort of memo, as you see it here, for some companies is like a relic of the past, and we're just sending emails. Others still have this more formalized looking memorandum. I'm not that worried about format. If you want to format it as if it were an email, that's fine with me, or you could use this format as well for the assignment. Just recognize that a good memo will have, like in the RE or the subject, a succinct explanation of what the memo is about. I don't know, sometimes maybe you've seen them at work or other places. There's people who just do like wacky subject lines that don't tell you anything about what you're getting into. And so sometimes people will blow off those emails because the subject line wasn't meaningful. So make sure your subject line is a meaningful, very short description of what the memo is about. And then when you write one, it should still follow like basic rules of I guess just English writing, where there's an introduction, usually 1 or 2 sentences that clearly explains why you're writing the memo. And then the body, which would be brief, but would spell out these items, right? The accounting error that's been made, the effect this will have on the financial statements dated year end, the problems that might result, and the importance of fixing the error. You think about it, if you just did a sentence for each of those bullet points, that would be 4 sentences right there. Most likely, some of these will take a couple more sentences, which is, and if you were organizing this into 2 paragraphs, you would probably organize them around the nature of the error and the effect of the error, and then a second paragraph which explains the problems that could cause and the importance of fixing them. But I'll let you decide how you want to break that out. This is important. The reader should have their questions answered with the memo. So you have to make sure you've sort of addressed all of the items in the memo so that a reader isn't left going, so now what? And also, and then the sentences should flow logically from each other, from one another. Finally, there should be a conclusion that sort of brings it all together. If it's a statement of action, like this is what we need to do, that's a good conclusion. And so that's really what you need to have a good memo. I hope this is helpful to you or helps explain to you what's expected. Again, if you follow the rubric, that's what I'm grading based on. So if you give a brief introduction, a body, and a conclusion, each sentence is clear and follows logically from the previous sentence, that's full points. If you're concise, say exactly what you need to without extra, full points, and so forth. So just follow this rubric and follow this little template I've given you, and you should do pretty well. Also recognize that this first one is just a rough draft, which you will then get back with some guidance, and then you'll be able to write your final draft to get the full grade. So that's what's expected with this assignment. And here's an example of a memo, and I hope that is helpful to you. And I hope you have a great week.